Joining us on the phone right now, the former president of the United States, Bill Clinton. Mr. President, thank you so much for joining us. Very sad news about Madeleine Albright, a woman you and I knew well. You, of course, named Madeleine Albright first as ambassador of the United Nations during your first term. Then you nominated her to become the first woman to serve as Secretary of State during your second term. How are you remembering her and her incredible legacy tonight?
Well, I was going back over my life with her, starting when we met in 1988. And I liked her the minute I met her. She was so smart, so well-informed, and level-headed. And she thought, by the time we started talking when I was running for president, that we had both an opportunity and an obligation after the fall of the Berlin Wall to try to finally build a Europe that was free, peaceful, and democratic for the first time since nation states arose on the continent. And she worked for it every day and believed in it, and she did a hell of a job at the UN and later at the State Department.
She certainly did. You say few leaders have been so perfectly suited for the times in which they served. That's a direct quote. How did her life experience, prepare her to take on some of the biggest crises facing the United States and the world?
Well, first of all, she knew how to live under a cloud of uncertainty. Her family had to flee Czechoslovakia twice, once because of the Nazis and once because of Stalin. And she didn't like either option because she knew that the Czechs wanted to be free to chart their own course in life. And it left an indelible impression on her. And they finally came to the United States. Her dad was a professor at the University of Colorado. And Madeleine wound up teaching at my old alma mater, Georgetown, where on, I think, at least two occasions, she was voted by the students as the most outstanding faculty member. But she was far more than an academic, partly because of the agonizing personal experiences she'd been through as a child. And she understood clearly that the people caught in the middle between Germany and Russia didn't want to trade Hitler in for Stalin, that they wanted to be free to chart their own course. And she pursued policies that were consistent with that, not only in Central Europe, but also where we were trying to bring stability and opportunity to people in Latin America and in Asia. She didn't like authoritarian dictatorships, and she didn't like arbitrary violence.
Secretary Albright met your wife Hillary Clinton through her work for the Children's Defense Fund and said Secretary Clinton wanted to give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. It's interesting because as two women who both served as U.S. Secretary of State, how unique was their relationship?
Oh, they were always, till the end of Madeleine's life, close friends, almost soulmates, and they agreed on not everything, but almost everything. And they worked together closely. They tried to support each other. And she was a really brave and steadfast supporter of Hillary's when she ran for president, both times. But they also did a lot of things in the world together. When Hillary was involved in the Irish peace process by getting Protestant and Catholic women together and working for peace, Madeleine was supporting that. When Madeleine was involved in democratic initiatives around the world after she left the State Department, Hillary was supporting her. They had a wonderful relationship.
Yeah, they certainly did. I understand the two of you actually spoke, you and Madeleine Albright, recently and actually discussed the issue of Ukraine, this horrible war that's going on. Can you share with us what that conversation that you had with Madeleine Albright was like?
Well, first of all, I knew that she'd had some health challenges, but I talked to her 2 weeks ago. And she was in strong voice, and her mind was sharp as a tack. And she was not about to focus on how long she had to live or didn't have to live, because she knew she was getting good care and she couldn't do anything about that. She spent the entire conversation talking about how Ukraine had to be defended, and that we had put the lie to those who said we made a mistake to expand NATO. She said, they're not going after NATO yet, and that the Ukrainians had clearly proved that they didn't want to be part of Russia, and the idea that Putin was trying to sell the argument that a country with a Jewish president was actually a Nazi country was patently absurd, and she just wanted to support whatever we could do to back Ukraine, and that's all she wanted to talk about. She was happy, she was upbeat, and she didn't want to venture in to her health challenges. She said, I'm being treated, I'm doing the best I can. The main thing we can all do now is to think about the world we want to leave for our kids.
I know that Madeleine Albright once attended a naturalization ceremony and remarked, and this quote always stuck out with me when she said, and I'm quoting her now, "Only in America could a refugee from Central Europe become Secretary of State." Mr. President, how does that resonate with you as Europe is now facing the greatest refugee crisis since World War II?
Well, I feel the same way Madeleine does. I think that we owe it to the Ukrainians to support them. The biggest Ukrainian diasporas are in the United States and Canada, and they have done very well here. I went a couple of weeks ago, I was down playing golf and with my friend Governor McAuliffe in Florida, and when we came up to the course, the person that greeted me when I got out was Wayne Gretzky, maybe the greatest hockey player in history, a Ukrainian Canadian. I think that we all need to help them. They'll make them, if their country prevails, and in the end I think they will if we all hang tough and give them the support they need, then they'll want to go home. And if it doesn't work out, we'll be enriched by having them in the United States and wherever else they choose to go. They're incredibly gifted people, and as we see, they're very strong-willed and resolute.
They are indeed. I know many of them myself, and it's a horrible situation that's going on right now. Mr. President, thanks so much for joining us, spending a few months to talk about Madeleine Albright, a wonderful, wonderful woman and a great American. Thanks once again for joining us.